Arjuna, firstly, I think a huge welcome to you on Filmy Shilmi and congratulations on your latest song, Main Janu Na.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So tell me, I mean, the song has just been received very well. I mean, I think it's wonderful to hear you and Jonathan sort of collaborate together for the song.
Yeah.
So how did the idea come about?
So basically, all compositional ideas are actually, conceived inside a studio, as always. So there was a time, like I think some time back, I don't remember exactly, but I was sitting with my lyricist Surbi, and I was just jamming on the piano, right? And I just came up with na 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 na, and then I ignored it. I played it and I ignored it, and then she said, "This was nice. Why don't you record it?" So we recorded it, and then she wrote something on it. And whenever I compose, I have a habit of singing some gibberish lyrics. So I was
Right.
singing like "Na janu na." So that we retained it in the final song. So that's how it happened. It happened like a jam session, and then we ended up like turning it into a full-fledged song. And then I called Jonathan. I said, this is a song, and would you like to sing it? And she said, why not? Let's collaborate. She's
Sure.
always open to these kind of things. Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. So I
Yeah.
mean, it's quite nice with the way it's kind of come about.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, I know your background actually lies in Hindustani classical,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you've actually trained for it. So
Yeah.
how much of those roots in Hindustani classical have actually helped you to form the sort of taste you have in music now?
So, apart from Hindustani classical, I've also studied Western classical music and jazz. And the reason I did that was because I was able to visualize things only from the Indian perception. And then I wanted to enhance that.
Okay.
But when I studied Western classical and jazz, I realized that it's almost everything is the same. It's
Mm,
just a different interpretation of a different language. Because what happens is if you sing something in Hindi, the composition changes because of the phonetic value of the words.
right.
For example, if I sing the same composition in English, it might sound a little different because of the phonetics. So
Mm.
I constantly try to enhance my skill set so that I'm able to work on a wider range of you can say media. In the sense, I've done work for advertising, for films, for background.
Jingles,
So
yeah.
yes, a lot of jingles. So a lot of them are, even Jonathan has sung a lot of jingles for me. So we did one for CRs, I think, and that was an English song.
Oh,
So she did that. She rendered it really well, and I was glad that I had that kind of training that I was able to pull it off. So even for Main Janu Na, the arrangement is a bit Western, but the composition has very Indian roots. So I think that's what it is. So that's what I think for my kind of a DNA, the sonic DNA which I am trying to create for myself. It helps me a lot to have the background in Indian classical music as well as jazz.
right. Yes. And I think that is very important. Also, I just wanted to take this opportunity and say that I am such a big fan of your song Akiyan from the Love Suri
Oh,
Kahani. I think it's one of the most underrated songs I think we've had. And I
yeah.
think it really portrays Kanika Kapoor's voice in a very
Yes,
different
yes,
way
yes.
to how we've
Yes.
heard her before. And I think that was
Mm-hmm.
such a great song. So I think a huge congratulations on that
Thank you
song.
so
I
much.
wanted to
Thank you.
put that out there. But yeah, I think coming back to what you were saying uh about the sort of background that you've had and how
Mm.
it helped you to distinguish. But I think so. I had recently had a panel talk, and Shasha Nirupati was also on there,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I think I posed this question to her as well. I think she had a very good answer, and I would love to hear what you would think as well. But you know, when you have like when you are an artist who is trained in both styles of music,
Mm.
how important is it to marry a traditional style with the modern style or contemporary style of music?
See, I think it depends on the situation for me. Because, see, first of all, Sasha is a really amazing musician. She's a great friend and amazing vocalist. And she has also sung a couple of jingles for me. So that way, I'm, lucky that I've worked with all the best talent in India. So, but she is a singer, right? So I am coming from a point of view of a music director. So for me, having these two, things in my hand, I treat them as separate tools.
Acha, okay.
you know for
Hmm.
example, if I have to create something, because I'm coming from a creator's point of view, right? So for example, there's one film which requires a very Indian treatment. So I know that I have the background and the knowledge, and I have the capability to execute it in the right manner and take it in the right direction.
Right.
Right. Similarly, when it comes to something for the West, for example, I've produced a lot of jingles which are in English. So then I don't try to fuse Indian elements into that, because then it needs to be purely Western. Then where the interesting part comes is that as a musician, when I create something which is my own sound, I don't have to make an effort to marry them. It gets done automatically because it's in my DNA, right? I've been living with this information since past 10-15 years. I've developed it over the years, and it has become a part of my system. Now when I'm working for a particular project, I just eliminate one side of it.
Acha, right.
But
Okay.
if I create something on my own, I always automatically fuse it. It's just a part of the DNA now.
Okay, and I think this is very interesting because your first, I would say, sort of Bollywood soundtrack, so to speak, was obviously with Lucknow Central, and I think the songs you composed for them were very dynamic. Even Kama Kama, for example, we're so used to hearing the Monsoon Wedding version, and this one was a very more it was more rooted, more earthy. Even
yes.
it as well, the sounds that you had in that. So how challenging was it for you to get that opportunity? How did that opportunity come about for you? And how conscious were you in sort of retaining the sort of sounds that you did in that album?
So basically, my association with Mr. Nikhil Advani happened because of this amazing writer called Kumar, who is like a top-notch guy. Yes. So I met him in 2013 for a project called T2 MBA, which was a small budget film in which I did all the songs. And that was the first time when I, tasted a bit of success, because Arijit had sung my songs, and O Suniye went really viral on the internet at that time. And although it did not materialize for me immediately, but today I am reaping the benefits of it. People are requesting, oh Sony, all right. So that's how it started. So that basically marked my association with Kumar Paji, that film in 2013. After that, I struggled for a couple of years. I was doing my advertising, whatever work I was getting to survive. Obviously, when you're living in Mumbai, you have to manage expenses. So then it happened so that, I met Kumar sir, and I told him that, I want to do more film music, but it's not coming my way because I'm obviously busy in advertising and I don't have time to go and meet people. And even if I have, they are not going to give importance to my time as such, in the sense that, they're not going to fix their schedule according to me. That if I'm busy in a session, they're not going to, change their life around me. So he said, you don't worry, you are a very good musician and I will help you as much as I can. So he's the person who has composed a lot of songs with me, and he only recommended my name to Nikhil Advani for his film called Guddu Engineer, which was a short film. For which I received the Mami Best Music Director Award, Geo Mami Award. Yeah. So that is how it happened. So basically, for that particular project, Lucknow Central happened much later after that, because by then Nikhil Advani also had that confidence in me that, okay, this guy will be able to manage. But it started with the baby step. It started with a short film, and then Kumar Paji came to my studio. He said, there is a song, there is an opportunity. Would you like to do it? But we need to play the song in the morning. I said, why not? He came into the studio, he gave me the lyrics. I was sitting with my team, I jammed, and we created Zami bech ke aasman kharidun, teri pasand ka saman kharidun, jahan bikte ho tere sapne wo dukaan kharidun. So this was the ad-lib which I composed instantly. And Kumar sir said, this is exactly what Nikhil sir wants. Please, I'm going out of the studio. I leave it up to you. You are the master of the art. You know what you're doing. And then I sat with my team. Overnight, we produced the entire song, played it to Nikhil sir. Next day, Nikhil Advani was in my studio. It was a dream for me. I was like, I can never even imagine meeting that guy in his office. And now he's in my studio. So that's what, Kumar sir has done for me. This was the beginning. This was the first step when I met Nikhil sir and he started loving my work. Then I ended up doing the score for that film. Then I ended up doing another series for him, which is called Bandi Youth Ke Prisoners of War, for which again I received a lot of awards. And then he
Right.
offered me that, I want you to do Lucknow Central, and this is completely the ball is in your court. You do whatever you want. But the only scenario is in the film that they are in a jail. All right.
Yeah.
So they don't have instruments, and we want to make it as realistic as possible.
Mm.
So obviously, at every point while composing for the songs, while producing, I had to be conscious of it that I am not putting in too many instruments. But we achieved it well because I have not used anything. We have used claps, we have used thumping sounds, all buckets, whatever is available in the kitchen.
Yeah, I noticed that, especially in Team Kabutar. I think those sounds,
Yeah, exactly.
authentic sounds, a lot more. I think I don't want to say visible, but you can hear them more clearly. I think in that song.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, and I think this is very interesting because especially because you do scoring as well, background scores as well. So how does a composer or someone who is of a musical prowess know what sort of score will go very well with the film narrative? I mean, how do you do that? I'm very curious to know.
I think first of all, I think it comes with experience because I have also studied music under a lot of people. I've observed a lot of people. While I was, studying under Suresh Watkarji as a student, I was living in the Gurukul. Over there, I got the opportunity to observe music directors like Vishal Shekhar, Ajay Atul, Vishal Bhardwaj, and I realized that they're not sticking to a particular formula as such. They're just going with the flow, and it took me a couple of years to understand how to go with the flow, because we have so many notions set in our mind that okay, it should be like this. Should I do this? So I think the day you remove references from your mind that I want it to sound like that, or I want it to sound like this, I think that is when you can completely, totally internalize a script, read it, and let the music flow. That's how it happens. It has happened to me so many times for Lucknow Central that, there was this last sequence where we needed to create a 2.5 minute piece. And I was not able to crack it. I was like, because I was trying too hard. So I took a break. I read that entire sequence. What I was trying to do was I was trying to be too technical. I was like, I wanted to match it like exactly 2 minutes, 30 seconds. Right. So I was like, how do I fix it in that? Then I got out of that notion and I slept over it. Something came to my mind. I woke up and I had a melody. And that's how it happened because I was living with the script. I was living with the film.
Okay.
So I think this is a very crucial part because nowadays what is happening is everybody's doing a lot of work. So they are not attached to either the script nor the film. So they just have to deliver because they're just coping up with the deadlines.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why we are not hearing some good music now. We are not. The background score scene has gone down the drain.
Yeah,
only certain films.
I mean, that's true, actually. I mean, luckily we have people like Sanchit and Ankit Balhara as well.
Yeah, Sanchit is a friend of mine. He's doing great.
He's doing such fab work. And I think you're right. I think that would be a very good question actually for you, Arjuna. Why do you think there is this lack of quality in terms of the background scoring nowadays? Do you think it's because people are more keen to just get the easy profits, get the money, and just move on to the next one? Because I feel like this is also a similar issue with the remix culture that we have, and we'll get to that as well just in a bit. But touching on the background score, why do you think quality is lacking nowadays?
The reason is because I'll tell you from first-hand experience what I've witnessed with a lot of big music directors is that the composer who is hired to do the work is actually not so involved. There is basically a team of people who are trying to basically just meet the deadlines. So, if second reason is they don't get enough time. So, for example, like Sanchit and I, we have studied under the same teacher. Our piano teacher were the same. So I have seen Sanchit work with Bansali sir and everybody. So he gets a lot of time to compose. I think time is that factor where you can, you can bounce off things that, I've created this. Now, if you have a time crunch, they have to approve it because, okay, the film is releasing on 15th of August. You are starting the score in June. You don't have 35, 40 days, maximum 40 days. So I think the time crunch. Secondly, to cope up with the time deadlines, people are hiring big teams who are just good producers, but they don't have the direction that a composer needs to have.
Okay.
So everybody's creating some piece, and then they are stitching it in the film. And on the timeline, it sounds good, but when you see it, you won't be able to relate to it. Like for example, how Hans Zimmer composes. There's so much of thought that goes into it, right?
Yeah.
John Williams, he knows what is happening in the film exactly. At this point, this needs to happen. A chime needs to come. The cymbal needs to go. The clarinet needs to do this, right? This concept of scoring does not exist anymore in India. It used to happen earlier, R.D. Burman ke time pe. Now it's not happening, right? Now it's just some people sitting on the software trying to just deliver it as soon as they can so that they can pick up more work.
Yeah, I feel this, and I'm really, really glad you mentioned this as well. And because I feel that that's also the reason why remixes are doing quite well nowadays. It's because there's a sense of creating commercial entities rather than actual love and passion for music, which is why I'm really glad we've got not new, but fresh talents like you, Yash Narvekar, so many great talents that we have nowadays. And it's so wonderful to see them emerging. But why do you think, what is your opinion actually on this whole remix culture in Bollywood as well, especially? Do you think it's kind of a creative crisis in a way?
I don't know. I think it's more to do with the labels, probably. Because if somebody comes to creative person, why will they even want to do a remix? It's just, I think, need of the hour. If somebody comes to me, like there have been instances when I've been approached that we want to remake that song. So apart from Kama Kama, and then there's one more song which I did for the South Indian film, which is That Is Mahalakshmi. That is still it's going to be releasing, I think, in the month of August. So these are the only two recreations that I did because I felt that I have the creative freedom to include 90% of my original work in it. Right now, what's happening is remixes are being forced upon you. That's what I've understood, realized. They've just been forced. Even in terms of people who are listening to it, they don't want to listen to remixes. When you listen to a remix, people are talking, okay, this also they have recreated. Why? We know the original song. We have heard it. Why are we recreating it? So I don't know. Probably these labels have the rights to particular songs and they just want to use it because they can. Probably. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's no creative sense.
Exactly. No, I mean, see, I'm not against remixes. I think I also want to just clarify that. I think like, for example, Dilbar from Satyam Vijayate, I quite love that song. I think it's a great rendition. I think it's a great addition. So I think a remix which kind of enhances the original song, I don't have any problems with. But the problem I have is with when you're, bina matlab puche bas rap ghusar relevant and young and hip. I think that's something which I have a big issue with as well. And how do you think this can change, though, Arjuna? I mean, what do you think is the need of the hour for the sort of creative passion to come back into the music industry, so to speak?
I think need of the hour is that there should be a music industry in existence. First of all, everything right now is just so dependent on Bollywood that we can't call it a music industry. Even though predominantly the source of promotion for these such Bollywood films is music, right? But the musicians are the ones who are not talked about at all, right? They are big actors featuring on the songs. So nobody is actually going to go and check who composed this song, who's the producer, who's mixed it, right? Nobody cares about that. Now people are getting a little more aware of the situation that, okay, there is a person called a music producer who does create the entire arrangement. There's one guy who composes and there's one guy who writes. Now people are getting to know it, right? So I think it's high time that the music industry has to be completely independent of what they call Bollywood. They can license our songs, use it for promotion. That's all. That should be a licensing deal for us. Right now, what's happening is we make a song and then they own everything.
Yeah, that's true. I agree. Yeah,
you have no. I mean, if I'm doing a cover of my own song, oh Sony, I'm getting a copyright strike on my YouTube. It's my song, bro.
Yeah, I can understand. I can totally get that. Oh my god.
I think this needs to go in the direction of licensing music instead of making songs for a film, because anyway you're not giving one entire film to one composer. So it's not that your sonic DNA is getting completely hampered, right? So you are of the mindset, Bollywood is of the mindset that we want hit songs. So why not just license those songs so that the composer, the original creators also get some benefit out of it? They get some royalties and everything. Right now, your song is either in a film or it's either a single. It has to be merged.
Yeah.
It has to coexist.
Oh, so true. Yeah, no, it's very true. And I think that's the problem. And it almost seems like a scam, when like a lot of labels go out of their way saying, oh my God, we're here to promote fresh talent. And I'm just like, well, you're not there. You're there to use them really for your own benefit, isn't it? And I think it's just a real shame that exists. But thankfully, with people like Sony Music India, who are great in providing a platform to fresh talent.
Absolutely.
Have brought out some great music recently. So I think that's, I guess, a beacon of change as well, right?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
It is.
For sure.
Indeed.
And I think, on a final note, Arjuna, I mean, obviously, when was that age you discovered your passion for music? I mean, I know it's a bit of a strange question to end on, but when was that age that you discovered your passion for music? And how do you hope that passion that you discovered will also be an inspiration to budding artists out there? And what do you think they should do?
See, because I come from a background of musicians, right? So my parents are both musicians. My mother is a A-grade, top grade artist in the AIR, All India Radio. My father is a composer. And when I was 2.5 years old, I started learning from my father, like how to sing ghazals and all that. So music was something which I never thought I will take as a profession, because I thought, how can this be a profession, right? Because I don't want to sing. I mean, what is my job? This was a notion in my head. But then when I gained popularity in school, I was like, when I used to sing and everything, so I used to get a lot of attention, and I used to not have to focus too much on studies because cultural activities, and I used to get points for that.
Oh wow, yeah.
So that became like a
I remember, like, oh my God, the amount of times we used to work so hard. Like, I knew, deep down, I knew because of the politics of institutions that second pair, third pair settle karte would literally yearn to get that envelope with thode se paise.
Yes.
And I was just like, oh my God, I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah, so that's how it all started. But then I'll tell you the change when I actually realized that this is something that I want to do. So there's this artist called Madhurani. Superb ghazal artist. I can't begin to talk about her. So I heard her album when I was 6 years old. So I was in class 6, grade 6, right? So you can say year 7. So my dad got that cassette and I was listening to it on loop. And I was like, Dad, what's this music which is happening in the background? I have never heard such amazing music. So he said, this is called arrangements. So I was like, oh, is this like a job? He said, yeah, it's like one of the music supervisors or the arrangers. It's a specific, term, specific person who does this. So there's one guy who's composing, one guy who's arranging the entire arrangement, and then the person who's singing it. And there are people who are recording. So I was like, oh, that is when I got intrigued. Okay, there are other things also. Not singing is not just the only thing in music. There are things like you create a beat. I thought these music pieces, they exist and somebody takes it and then they're singing on it. The notion when it entered in my mind that okay, somebody has created this. So I was in class 6 and I told my dad I want to do this at that time. So that's how then he said that if you want to do this, then you better start learning piano. You start taking it seriously, because I had a music school in my own home. So I used to never sit in the classes. But I used to observe everything, because we are playing around and classes are happening. So some rag is happening and I was singing unconsciously. But then I took a conscious decision that I want to actually take this ahead and let's see where it goes. And then obviously, but studies, 10th boards, 12th boards, everything happened. And I was continuing my journey as a musician. I was learning softwares like Fruity Loops. One of my friends gave me that, bro, there's this software called Fruity Loops. You can make music on that. So I was like, what are you saying? How is it possible? I had no idea that it happens, because then I had seen my mother in recordings and everything used to be live. There are 40 musicians playing live and she's singing. So I was like, no, how can you make music on a computer? Then I opened it up and I was like, oh my God, you can create beats. Tuck, 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 tuck. I was like, oh my, blown away with it. That's when I, started exploring it. And then, slowly, gradually got into it. So yeah, I mean, it started pretty early.
Okay, cool. So is that what you would advise as well? Fresh artists out there, perhaps who wish to kind of work in the Indian music industry, is to perhaps start from fresh and maybe produce their own music as well. Is that what you would like?
Absolutely. I'll say, irrespective of which industry you want to target, just being a singer is not enough. Just being a composer is not enough. You need to get into the mindset of a singer songwriter where you are in control of the entire soundscape of your song. You are creatively involved. It's not like, you can't just hire every time. You can't hire somebody. You know, for example, if I only come to the industry with the mindset of being a singer, so every time I have to rely on somebody to create a song for me, which should justify my singing capabilities, right? Which should highlight my singing capabilities. Then I have to find a writer, then a producer. I think these three roles you have to find within yourself
Hmm.
before you take this step of being a musician. Then you'll be an overall musician.
Ah, lovely. Yes, a whole rounded. That's very true.
Exactly. Exactly.
Very, very true. And I think that's very good advice as well. But I think before I let you go, Arjuna, I would love to hear a couple of lines of Main Janu Na, if you could sing for the
Sure.
viewers.
Sure. For sure. I would love to. बेसब्र हवाएं तेरी अदा सुनाए तुझसे ही है मेरी आयतें मेरी नायतें तेरी दूरियों से शिकायतें मैं जानू ना मैं हूँ कि तू है ये जानू ना तू है कि मैं हूँ. There
Lovely,
you go.
lovely, lovely, lovely. I could have just
Thank
listened
you.
to you all day, to be very honest. It was so lovely.
Thank you. Thank you
But I
so
think
much.
congratulations on the success of the song. It's a wonderful rendition, and I can't wait to hear more music and more great work from you, Arjuna. Thank you so much for joining me on Film
Thank you.
Film
Thank
today.
you for having me. Thank you, bro.
Thank you.
Have a good day, man.
You
Bye.
too. Bye bye.